Both these cases are actually post-bypass cases. As we promised to you, we will do some vein graft, some Lima intervention, and we have a vein graft case and also 2 Limas to treat. So we'll have some variety to see in both these cases. So can we have the first slide, please, to show you what exactly we are going to do? Here, as you can see, this is a 49-year-old man, very young. He is diabetic, hypertensive, had angioedema in 2000, had a bypass surgery in 2000 at the age of 39 years. He had a Lima to LAD, vein graft to OM2 and PDA. He had some CVA event also in 2003, which is recovered. Next, please. And the most I think intriguing aspect in this case is that he is also a CKD who is awaiting a renal transplant. Now the situation is that his echo is 45-50%, his DSE is positive, and that is why he was brought to us for an angiogram. Next, please. His ECG is more or less okay, minor Q waves in the V1, V2, and V3. Next. And here is the angiogram. As you can see, the circumflex is totally occluded, the LAD is occluded, native vessels. Next, please. And yes, yeah. And next slide. Next slide, please. Yes. Okay. Here you see that the right artery is also 100% occluded. Next. So it's predominantly dependent on vein grafts. This is the vein graft to the OM which is functioning. However, distally you can see that the circulation is very minimal with this, but this is okay. There is a mismatch between the vein graft and the distal circulation.
Size.
There is no significant stenosis. Next. The other vein graft, as you can see, there is a mild stenosis in a very small branch distally. We are not going to do anything about it. Next. But the vein graft is patent, so that way is doing fine. And the right vein graft to the PD, as you will see, is having a stenosis at the distal end, most likely in the native part of the vessel. And this is quite a big circulation. Next. And if you look at the Lima, this is quite a tortuous Lima, and there is a significant stenosis just beyond the Lima insertion site. Next, please. So this is what we have in hand, and his ejection fraction is 45-50. He is awaiting a renal transplant, which is imminent in the next 1 or 2 months. And presently he is on a maintenance hemodialysis. So now there are a few questions which we have to answer before we proceed to this case. Of course, these are the 2 lesions. One beyond the vein graft, the second is at the Lima insertion. And these 2 lesions have, the problem is that after this, if he has to undergo a transplant, we have to stop clopidogrel and maybe aspirin also. So the choice of stent is one of the questions. And the second is, of course, navigating through those very severe tortuosities in the left internal mammary artery. So before we show you what we are done and what we are going to do, can we have some comments from the panel?
Yeah, Dr. Praveen Chandra, I am Dr. Jivani here. First, let me congratulate you for flawless transmission. You've been your communication is excellent. In fact, one of the best since we have started the conference. Yeah. Then you have really challenging case. A young man with all comorbidities, and the tortuosity of Lima is, it really bothers, I think, the taking all the hardware there, and then choice of stent. So it's really challenging case.
Dr. Praveen Chandra, I think there are 2 issues there. One is that both the lesions are at the site of insertion of the graft into the artery. So one is that, is it suture related? I mean, that is the place where the suture is. So normally you find that dilatation of such lesions is a bit of a problem. Secondly, what about the distal protection devices? I mean, would you be able to use that?
Okay. So let me answer you both these questions. Number one is that it appears that yes, they are at the distal insertion site, but they are appearing that they are in the native part of the vessel. So in any case, if there is a problem of the dilatation, we are prepared to take high pressure balloons, number one. Number two is that about the distal protection device, I don't think we will be able to use any distal protection here because there is hardly any landing zone.
Yeah.
So we won't be using any distal protection in this particular patient. And since we are also expecting that at least a major part of this lesion is in the native vessel, so we don't need to really put the distal protection device. So now first of all, let me tell you what is the plan from our side. Our plan is to first treat the vein graft, which is the easier one, and then we go on to treat the lima distal lesion, which is distal to the lima insertion. Now the question with this is, it is not very difficult to treat this vein graft, but the problem here is which stent to use. Because we cannot use a drug-eluting stent because we have to certainly stop clopidogrel, and then it can be a disastrous situation at the time of renal transplantation, which is very, very important. Is all the rest of the things have been prepared, so we have to think about that also.
I would like to make one comment.
So anybody who would choose a 3ES or everybody is for BMS?
Yeah, before that I would like to make a comment. This is very, very unlikely to be surgically related anastomotic site problem because it's almost after 10 years of surgery it has come. So probably there is progression of disease in the native vessel just beyond the anastomotic site. So that is one point. And then you will have to use stent. Just not using stent is not an option here. And
absolutely. So we have to use a stent.
We have to
Which
use
stent? That is the thing,
Yeah.
And we have to use a bare metal stent.
I guess there is no other option. I mean, since the surgery is imminent, there is no choice.
Or you are another
any other option you can think of?
Yeah, another option could be you can use stent without polymer. So that probably in 6 months' time it will not be difficult to stop dual antiplatelet therapy. One of the biometric drug-eluting stent or Endeavor Resolute, where it is possible to stop the dual antiplatelet therapy after 6 months, if the result is excellent.
Let me tell you.
Can you use a
BMS
followed by a
that is
drug-eluting balloon?
absolutely acceptable, but beyond that, we have thought of another device, which is basically a drug-eluting balloon, which is mounted with a bare metal stent, and there is no polymer, of course. So that I think will be a very good option in this kind of situation. I think it is the most suited for this situation because there is no problem of dual antiplatelet therapy beyond 1 month, and of course he will also get the benefit of anti-restenotic effect because of the drug-eluting balloon. So let me show you what we have done. Can we have when we go to the fluoro, please? Yes.
Dr. Naveen,
So here you see the fluoro images?
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay. So this lesion, which is about 70-75%, we also had some discussion in the lab whether it is really significant or not. And I'm sure many of you might be thinking that we may leave it alone. So, of course, we went ahead and did a FFR to this lesion. Can we show the FFR?
They did an FFR. With the tandem lesions, not just one lesion.
Okay. So you will see that this is the recording of the FFR which we did on him. And the baseline was, can we go quickly to the baseline? Lesion is. We want to see the lesion. Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is the recording which is coming up now. It was 0.87 at that time. When 0.8, 0.87, and when we injected, after that it came to 0.7, as you will see, a 0.69, 0.7. So it was a significant lesion based on this FFR finding. So we are absolutely certain that we have to treat this lesion, and the decision was made to put a stent, which is a bare metal stent mounted on a drug-eluting balloon. And this is the magical stent from Eurocord. And the size we are choosing is 3.5 into 19. Can you go to the next?
Dr. Praveen Chandra, can you show that angiogram once? There is quite a long segment disease, but the critical lesion appears to be little distally.
Yes, yes.
So which part you are going to cover? I mean, from stent from where
So
to
we
where?
will cover the, stent will be from, as you will see here, we have placed the stent and it is covering from the dilated portion to the dilated portion. And it is a 19 millimeter stent. Next please.
3.5.
Next.
Just sorry.
What is the diameter of the stent which you have used?
3.5.
This is a 3.5 into 19.
Oh, 3.5.
And we have gone to high pressures now. So this is up to about 18, 19 atmospheres. Next please. Can we see the next please? This is the result of the stent implantation, which is a magical stent. And I think we are done on this. There is no slow flow, there is no problem. And this is the final outcome with the stent implantation.
No, so my question here is, your FFR was significant because of the distal more important lesions or because of the proximal lesion?
Because of this lesion, because we checked in the branch, which was relatively free of disease, as you will see here, the bigger branch.
The lower one.
How long did you inflate the balloon? I mean, because normally they say that the drug-eluting balloon should be
This was
inflated
for 1 minute. Yeah, we do it for 1 minute. And the data is that it should be minimum 45 seconds. And in some studies, they have gone up to 90 seconds also. But 1 minute is a reasonable time for the drug to go into the vascular bed.
There is significant disease.
So this is how we finished the vein graft, and now I will show you what next we are going to do. This is the most difficult part of the whole thing. Here you see multiple loops, and the lesion is beyond that. So next please. So initially we thought that let us try the same wire which we used for the FFR. But as you can understand, as you can see here, the wire it will be very, very difficult to cross the FFR wire through this, through so many tortuosities. So obviously we went ahead and took the whisper wire, which is the softer one. Next please. Next. And here we have recorded the entire process. Next. And up till now we are here. We have crossed almost 3 loops. Next. And here you see, this is how the wire is sitting now. So I'm not sure whether we'll be able to cross any stent or not through this. So what are the guesses there? What stent and whether stent will cross this?
What is the length of the stent that you propose to take, sir? What is the length of the stent?
I wanted to take I want to take at least a 19 or a 23 millimeter stent. But taking a 19 or 23 through this will be
Very,
tough.
very difficult, absolutely.
Yes. So maybe we will use 2, if one 23 doesn't go, we'll use 2 small stents.
Yeah, that'll be better.
You can have a buddy wire also here along with it.
Yeah, but the problem with buddy wire in this becomes is that as soon as you take 2 wires, the whole thing gets concertinaed, straightened, and the patient start developing too much symptoms. And it's a very huge vessel.
Using an extra support wire.
This is a whisper extra support.
Okay.
So we have already taken that, and let me now show you where we are. And so this is the present situation. Can you give a small check please? And here we are. So we have to still cross another tortuosity, and I'm trying to, you see.
Would you like to use a
This will actually jump.
support of a
balloon support or something,
microcatheter or
microcatheter?
something?
Again, the artery will
Yes,
go.
yes, we will.
Yeah.
But the problem is, as soon as I will take some support, the whole artery will become straightened. So I don't want to straighten the whole segment too early in this procedure. Can we go up now? see the top end because we have a small balloon up there to give some support. Okay. And we'll have to go very, very slow. You see how many tortuosities we have?
By the way, what guiding you are using? What is the guiding?
This is the RCA.
Or six French? Six
In
French.
fact, I have taken a 6 French because in case I have, oh my God, it's coming back. We have to go very, very slow. And we are making some progress. And check please, check. Check. Guiding. Okay, let me see the guiding. Okay. Check. Check now. Okay. Take a shot. Okay, we are almost across all those tortuosities, but this is the last very, very difficult part. So I'm mentally prepared that maybe we won't be able to cross it, even if today we have crossed the lesion now. Because it is a matter of patience, I think, in these kind of situations. One has to just inch it forward one by one. Can we see the catheter now? Up. Yes. So at all times we have to keep controlling the catheter guide and also the balloon, wire, everything.
Actually, doing intervention on Lima, this is a very, very tricky problem. You can't have a guiding and the sight of interest in the same view, so you have to keep shunting
Yeah,
between.
generally we debag in this kind of
Debag
situations.
and yeah.
And pushing will never help in this kind of situation. One has to just keep sliding the whole thing. I think this balloon is not going to cross. And if this balloon doesn't cross,
No question of
properly,
stent, yeah.
then
No question of
there
stent.
is no question of a stent out here. So what I am going to do is, I will try again.
I think using a buddy wire at this stage
No.
may help.
We can, but the thing is that, okay. No, it's going in a branch. It's going in a branch.
Is there some calcium there where your balloon is stuck?
No. It is actually because of the tortuosity.
No, I
We
can see
can't
some.
have any torque on the wire.
Yeah. The wire has come back.
You see? Yeah, this is bound to happen. And that is why, in these kind of procedures, sometimes, you have to just abandon this because it will also now go into spasm. Because after a while, these IMAs, and although it's a very roomy kind of left main, Lima,
Lima, yeah.
you see, we have crossed, we are in a very good distance now, as you will see, and I am able to give some torque at least, because the wire is looking good, better than before, but now the balloon is not helping me.
What is the length of the balloon that you've taken?
10,
Yeah, this is a normal length balloon.
9, 10.
Because the thing is, if I can take a 1.5 or a 1.25, but then, it won't serve much purpose.
Maybe a shorter length might just help. 6 millimeter.
This is,
Can we do a
This is
little?
the best we can have with the wire.
Yeah, a little bit of push and pull. You just pull the wire and simultaneously push the balloon.
Yeah.
Maybe that might help.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to do. But you know, the question is, even if I'm able to push the balloon,
Yeah, what next?
what is the point in really,
Yeah.
just doing the dilatation, because we won't be able to put a stent here.
No, my problem is if you do the dilatation and God forbid there is a dissection and then you're not able to take the stent.
Yeah, that's fine.
That'll be a nightmare.
So that is why I'm still thinking that whether we should really, now the wire is in position, as you can see. Can you take the shot? This too, dekho. Yes. The wire is in good position. But we won't be able to take the balloon inside. So what is the opinion of the panel here? Whether we should, just leave it now, do nothing more, or
I guess we should
keep trying?
use a buddy wire, try to straighten that artery, and then I think we should make an attempt. Now that you've gone so far.
Okay, so let us take although we don't have much time now left, and we have to, we are very interesting another case. Anyway, let us see. No, I'll give you another wire.
No, since
So I
you,
hope most of you agree that the choice of stent in this kind of situation, where you don't want to use a DES because of dual antiplatelet therapy, and still want to have the benefits of drug. I think choosing a drug-eluting balloon with the stent, this magical, is a good idea.
because once you dilate and if there is some dissection or anything, then you are stuck because stent
Yes,
won't
yes.
reach there, yeah.
So that is why I am thinking whether we should really proceed or not.
No.
Because this was my test in this situation, that once the wire is crossed,
No.
if I am not able to take the balloon easily, I will not do the ballooning, and neither we will try and put the stent.
Well, let's take another wire. If you still
Because
can't
that
cross the
can create
balloon, then
more
we
problems.
abandon that.
No, what I suggest you now, because there is no other way, you put another wire, hopefully that lima will behave, and then you directly take the stent and try it, instead of
Yeah.
going with balloon and
Yeah.
then dilating and then not doing
Absolutely.
the job properly.
Balloon is not going to
then
help
take
us.
directly stent and do direct stenting.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because it is more or less clear
Yeah.
that we will have serious issues.
Yeah.
So that is why we were discussing actually, that if we are not able to achieve a very good tracking of the balloon, we will not do any dilatation.
Yeah.
So one suggestion,
Because
why don't we have a short length balloon, 6 millimeter, go ahead and dilate, and then you can even think of putting two
in
stents,
fact, that is what the point is.
put two
Point
short
is
stents,
that, no, we will be able to cross this lesion with the balloon. But
short balloon, I said.
with a very low profile balloon we can.
But what
But
next?
the lesion
Yeah.
is not very tight. Yes, ma'am. And the problem will be at the time of really doing the stenting. Check. Check, please. If there is some spasm which is already coming in
Yeah.
Ostium.
at the ostium.
At the ostium,
So
you can see a
I
spasm
will
there.
not push it too much,
I think so.
because it can create. We should do something which is at least not harmful. Check please.
The flow
There is
is,
some flow
the
problem.
flow is definitely decreased now. Probably a little bit of
Flow
night.
is decreasing now.
A little bit
So
of
I think it will be a good idea to
To,
just
yeah,
abandon this, because
stop the
artery
procedure.
is getting straightened out.
Yes.
Yes. ऊपर दिखाइए. And now this thing is that we have to take it very carefully,
Yeah. It'll get sucked in.
because yes, it can get sucked in and it can then dissect the whole lima.
Can we have a little?
So this is what I wanted to show, that how we have to approach these lima interventions, because sometimes it can create more problems.
But
And every time you take out the wire, we have to keep looking at the tip of the
tip of the
guiding
guiding,
catheter.
yeah. But I fully agree with you. It is better not to do anything rather than just try to do balloon
Yes.
dilatation. Yes.
No. That is not a good idea at all.
Yeah.
So now that is all. I think we are still fine, and the patient is okay. His BP is okay now.
Can you just take a
The
lima
BP
shot,
also
last lima
declining.
shot, please?
I will do that. Okay, okay. Check please. Check. Check. Aryo? No. उसमें आ जाओ, एलियो. Let's see. Okay, take the wire. Actually, we have pulled out the catheter a little bit more back while we were controlling the pull out of the wire. So,
Dr. Chandra, you are planning to stage the procedure or totally abandon it?
I think, we'll think about it, but most likely we will abandon this because the way it was responding, I am not quite happy with this.
Which territory
Because,
did
the important issue is
dobutamine stress
we'll
echo?
repeat the thallium scan.
No, you did dobutamine
And see
stress
how it
echo.
behaves.
No, Dr. Navin, now
Yes.
question is, okay, we'll leave it at this stage now, but what next? What would be the future plan? What do you want to do if there is inducing?
Okay, the future plan will be if his thallium is negative,
No, if
we
it
will
is-
send him for a renal transplant.
If it is positive,
If it is positive, then of course he has to undergo a reimplantation of the lima, or we have to do another vein graft to him. Check
oh,
please.
so redo surgery.
Check. So this is perfect now, and as you can see here, that there is no residual spasm, there is no dissection, he is okay. So I'll go to the next lab now and show you the next case we have.
Dr. Chandra, which territory did the dobutamine stress echo showed the problem?
I mean, this was basically the apex and the inferior wall. So we will see now because the RC was a big.
Okay.
Ready then?
Yeah. Though this case was had to be abandoned, but it's a good demonstration of difficulties of doing intervention on lima. The tortuosity and all those are very, very challenging. And fortunately, the lesion doesn't look very critical here, so nothing is lost. But before considering intervention on lima to LAD, these are the practical difficulties one has to.
You encounter the same difficulty in any tortuous lesion. I mean, whether it's a native vessel or it's a graft.
But lima probably, if you try to do
Backup
more
is
and
very
more interventions, the guiding is a problem, then you
Spasm is
can't
a
put
problem.
body wire and then it all goes into spasm and all those things.
You should be able to finish in
No problem.
10
So
minutes.
we'll have, I'll show you some very interesting, another good case. Again, a post-bypass case. Can we start with the slide, please? So I really wanted to show you the two good limas side by side so that, understanding becomes much better. Basically, it is a post-bypass 1992. Lima to LAD, vein grafts to diagonal 1. There were 2 grafts done. And this time, 2 weeks back, he had a non-Q lateral wall MI. Next slide, please. And this is the angio. You'll see the angio now. The LAD is 100% occluded. Next, please. Next slide. Right artery is also 100%. And the circumflex is also 100%. Next, please. And now what we see here is that the lima to the LAD is patent, but there is a very severe stenosis in the mid-distal portion of the LAD. There are some non-critical plaques in the proximal part, but distally it is very tight. Next, please. And in this lima, at least, you don't see too many curves. So I think we'll be able to do something in this. And looking at the vein graft, it appears that it is a very recently occluded vein graft, where you can see it going up to the middle. So this is what we have in hand. Can we go to the first shot here?
The right coronary and the OMs are not
Yes.
bypassed, no?
The OM was bypassed, and that is what got occluded this time. The circumflex was bypassed. Only 1 graft was done.
Oh, I thought the SVT
And
was
the
to
LAD,
D1.
no, it was for the OM.
Oh, your initial slide showed it as
So,
D1.
Okay. So anyway, so this was to the OM, and now this is the situation. So what is your opinion about this quickly, so that we can show you in 10 minutes what we are doing and what we have done. He has a distal LAD lesion which is in the mid distal part of the LAD, and the circumflex is totally gone, which is dominant.
And the graft through circumflex.
So let me tell you what we did, because we have very little time. So what I did was, I discussed with my surgical colleagues that he needs treatment for the entire circulation. He needs treatment for circumflex. He needs treatment for the LAD. So looking at the LAD, it is not possible through the now any surgical procedure can be done, because in the mid distal part where they put the grafts itself, and doing go back. Endarterectomy is not a very good outcome situation. Back. So what we said is that I discussed with my surgeon. I told him, why don't we do a LAD through the lima, and you do a mini thoracotomy or a lateral thoracotomy and put a graft to the circumflex. Back there. No, don't show this.
Circumflex is more difficult to treat.
So basically then he said, okay, you first do the lima and then we will do the circumflex if required. So I told him, okay, we will see if while we are going to do the lima, we will try and open the circumflex if we can, although it is a very old occlusion, 1992. So we said, okay, in case we are going to do it at the same time, let us try and open up the circumflex if we can, otherwise we will do the lima. So this is where we are. So then we said, okay, we will take first the whisper wire, which we do generally in total occlusions, and luckily we could cross this through a whisper wire. Next, and once the whisper wire was crossed, we took a 1.2 millimeter mini Trek balloon, which is one of those the final balloons which we take while we are crossing CTOs. So it's a 1.2x6 mini Trek, which we did the dilatations. And next please. And then this was followed by a dilatation with 2 millimeter balloons. And next please. And this is what we have. You see the balloon is now crossing very nicely. The vessel is very much open. It's a very big territory. So it was important that we really were able to do it. And then we did these sequential dilatations. And in the distal portion, you will see that the vessel is quite thinned out. So now the question was whether to put stents all across, or first we put the diseased portion and then we see whether we still need another stent distally or not. So generally what we do is we put stents distally and then we put proximally, but in this situation I decided to first stent the proximal part and then see sometimes because of chronic underfilled situations the vessels keep underfilled, and then once you open up the vessel it starts blowing up. So we took a 2.5 into 32. This is the Yukon PC, the new stent which has come from Yukon. This is a very 1/4 amount of biodegradable material which is there as a polymer, and sirolimus, and of course the same Yukon stent which we were using earlier. And this has been studied very recently in the ISAR test force study against Zynes and Cypher, showing non-inferiority. So we use this Yukon PC, and then what you see here is, can we see? So we saw that after the dilatation and stenting, the distal portion was also not looking very thinned out, and then we decided to treat the distal portion as well. Next please. We did dilatations with a 3 millimeter balloon then. We did a IVUS also in between. Can we show the IVUS pictures? And here you see this, these IVUS pictures are taken after the 2.5 into 32 Yukon PC implantation. The lumen looks very good, but distally, the distal part just beyond the insertion of the stent, the vessel was very thin. And this, after this, can you see the IVUS picture?
Yeah, we can see.
A lot of blood there.
Okay. So after this, we dilated with the 3 millimeter balloon as well. And now you will go to the fluoro image. Fluoro, please. And you will see that the distal portion is still looking very thinned out beyond the stent. So we did some more sequential dilatations because it was not improving with the nitrates and diltiazem, etc. And then we took another 2.5 into 36 millimeter. This is a supralimus core stent because we didn't have any other longer length Yukon PC. So we took this one. This is again a biodegradable polymer. And this is the outcome after the 2 stent implantations.
Very nice.
Can we
I
have a
hope
view
you
where
are
we can
happy
see
with
the
it.
distal vessel a little more clearly?
Yes,
Iliocranial
we
or
will show
something?
you. Yeah, here you see the distal
Yeah.
vessels. Yeah, here you can see. So this was fine.
Yeah, this-
And then we said, okay, we'll now have to move again to our Lima. So here this Lima is not so bad. I hope you agree with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, Lima is a Lima. So we took a whisper wire again. Next please. And next please, next. There's only one loop here. And there is a proximal lesion which is not looking very tight. The distal one is a significant lesion. Next please. And you will see some tortuosity is already coming up. Some concertina is coming up with this wire. So we have to quickly now move on. And can we go to the RAO? There's a dilatation there. And this is a 2.0 balloon, which is a Maverick balloon.
Do you plan to address the LED also beyond that?
Yeah. I think that's what he's trying
Beyond
to
what?
There's a LED lesion there.
That's what
The distal LED lesion.
Yeah, we are going to treat the distal tight lesion first.
Okay.
And then we'll see how it goes. So here you see the balloon is really crossing. Okay, there is some resistance, but we are going very slowly. Because if you start pushing it too much, the guiding will really jump out and the wire will also lose its position. Here you see it is not crossing very easily, so we'll keep pushing slowly. Okay, check please, check. ऊपर से हाँ okay, नीचे नीचे check please, check. No, we have to go quite distally actually.
Quite.
The problem is, my friend has taken a Oxford balloon, which I am going to change to NY1. I don't know why he took it. Anyway, so let us see the top now. Again, while we are pulling out the balloon, we have to see the guiding catheter. Please show the guiding catheter again, because it should not jump inside. It is now gradually moving in. So. So I hope you can see the fluoro,
Yes, we can.
and I'm taking out the balloon of the stent.
What stent was this?
This is a Promus element, and as you saw here, we were finding it difficult to take even the balloon, a new balloon. So we really wanted to use a stent which would have the best trackability, and I thought Promus element would really be a good one. We didn't want to, give any. You see, okay. This looks fantastic.
Very nice.
So this is, the lesion is looking good, and there is some narrowing still there. If you want, I can do it with a high pressure balloon,
I think so.
a 2.5. Can we take a 2.58? No, again, don't give. No. Always give NY balloon for this, because you know we are in a habit of using Oxford stuff, and in this kind of situation it just wastes more time, and sometimes you can lose all the position.
So what is your plan for the proximal
We are
lesion?
at the very
What is your plan for the proximal
lesion,
lesion?
I don't think is critical. I think we will leave it at this stage, because it is not looking critical at all, and it is like about 50% at the most.
A little more than
And
50.
we might do a, you know,
But the concertina effect is quite well seen there proximally.
in the proximal part.
Yeah.
So this is the 2.5. Okay. 8 millimeter balloon. We're growing very nicely now, and we have crossed the lesion, the stent, and I'll use the. Try to use this. Okay, yeah, we can see it very clearly on the stent boost program. And let me tell you, there was some discussion about radiation, and I want to, just make it a point always that we use low radiation, because all the machines now have low radiation, medium radiation, and high radiation zones. So we always work in the low radiation zone, and this is very, very important, Okay, go up, please. And this brings down the radiation to at least 1/3, I was told. So
10, 12,
2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 14, 14, 14, 16, 16. Okay, 16 is fine. Deflate, please. We'll go a little bit distal more to the, okay. Go up to 4, 6, 8, 10. No, deflate. We have gone beyond that. So this is the problem when we are treating through tortuosities. Sometimes the balloon can really jump out. Okay, go up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, right. Deflate, please. 14. Deflate. So we are out, and let me take a picture, and then finally you can decide whether we really should treat the. Now this is looking all right to me, and the proximal lesion I don't think is critical. We will evaluate it later, and in case whenever it becomes significant, we'll treat it.
Can we take another
So
view?
that is where I think I will stop.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen Chandra. That was a wonderful demonstration of the Lima intervention and the difficult anatomy of the circumflex. Any comment from the panelists, the chairpersons?
I still feel that that lesion may be significant and maybe is the best kind of lesion to try of FFR, because
So you want me to put a FFR wire now?
Yeah, I also feel that. I mean,
Yeah,
the proximal
because-
thing appears to be.
Okay, I can, in 2 minutes I can do the FFR for you, no problem.
three out of 4.
So that will be
feel that
interesting
it is
for everybody.
Do you
So
have any
I'm
other
taking,
views?
this is the RADI system, because in the other lab we use the Volcano, and here we use the RADI one, so let us see. So I hope everybody knows about the preparation of this, and can somebody focus here? Focus on this. So we are preparing the wire. First pushed some saline, and now take this. We are connecting this lead to the monitor here, which is in front of us, and now we have the pressures on this monitor, and now we are calibrating the wire. So wire is being calibrated first. Okay, calibration, it says okay. So we are ready to take the wire, and this is the wire, which is again this almost similar as the normal 014 wire, but the only thing is it will not be as slippery as the whisper wire which we used in this case. So I have not taken out the wire, because it will give some support to us. Can we have the torque, please? Okay. So, there we are.
Can you see the fluoro, please?
Yes, yes, fluoro, please, fluoro, fluoro. Check, 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 check. So you will see the wire going easily. Yeah. Okay, okay, zero kar lete hain. Zero. Okay, let us zero the wire. I have not zeroed it as yet. So we are zeroing it. Before you put it inside, you have to do the zeroing. Yes, now it is zeroed. So we'll go forward. And okay. So let us see. Since there was some, concertina, check please, check, check, check. Yes. So what I have to do now is, I think I have to take out the wire a little bit back, because otherwise through the concertina it may be a little bit difficult to cross. You see how badly it was concertinaed? Okay, check please, check, check, check. Yes, now we are able to cross. But again, as I told you, taking the FFR wire may not be as easy as the whisper wire. Because we have tried whisper wire in such situations, it doesn't respond so well to the torque. Okay, okay. Check please. Okay. So we are almost there. But again, it is leading to a little bit of a difficulty. Because of the proximal tortuosity, the wire is not moving so well, but now it has. Check please. Okay, I think we are across that lesion.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so let me show you. Can we show the screen now? And so we are very much across that lesion. And here what we see is the equalization is at 7, which is okay, which should be below 12. And can you see the screen?
Okay. Can we see the insert of
Screen,
the?
please.
Can we see? Yes.
Yes, yes. Now you can see. Okay, it is 0.95, and I am going to give adenosine. And here it is. How much it is?
So this is 80 micrograms.
80 mics.
Flush.
And now I flush it. So you are a constant this thing on the screen. It is coming to 0.8, 0.81, 0.82, 0.83.
So not
So it is very borderline. Yes, of course, somebody said 60. Yes, it may be 60, but it is not 70, I think.
Could we try with 120 micrograms?
So it is above 0.8.
Can we
Can we
have an
increase the adenosine?
incremental dose of adenosine?
Yes, yes, we will increase it. I will do that. I will do that. In fact, in these kind of situations, we sometimes also give, in fact, many times we give infusion. So this is how much?
120.
120. So now we are giving 120. And let us see how it is. 0.83, 0.82. It is still above 0.8.
I think you made your point.
So it is truly an intermediate lesion.
Yes.
Yes, and this time it has fallen onto the less significant side. But yes, I agree that sometimes we can find value going below 0.75. So really FFR is a very good way to decide. So in this case it is 0.8 to 0.84. So I will leave this lesion based on this FFR. I hope you all agree.
Definitely,
Yes,
sir.
yes,
We all agree.
That's very elegantly demonstrated by
Right.
you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you, Dr. Praveen Chandra. That was
I
a
must
wonderful
thank
demonstration.
Dr. Srinivas, Dr. Sharat Chandra and others at Hyderabad who have given me this opportunity to do this presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
you.